Hey everybody, Chris the Old Ass Retro Gamer here, and welcome to another episode of Top 3 Tuesday. I haven't done one of these in a little while. Figured I'd bring it back. It's a new year, why not? So I decided to kick off 2020 with a few episodes where I talk about the things that I liked in 2019. It's going to be the first of two videos. The first one today is going to be all about the top 3 games I played in 2019. I did talk about my top 3 games of 2019 when I did the Game Tenants podcast in mid-December. If you haven't heard that, this video is for you. If you still want to hear me talk about these games more in depth, I'll put the link to the episode of the podcast below. So in 2019, I've played more games and definitely beat more games than I have in a long time, like way more than in years past. I decided early on in 2019 that I was going to set aside more time to play these games that I'm constantly buying. You know, I'm always buying stuff for the Switch, the PlayStation 4, and the Xbox One. You need to start playing this stuff, Chris. Otherwise, it's just collecting dust. In 2019, I played a lot of the newer games, and I liked a lot, so it was kind of hard to pick these choices. But I did manage to whittle them down to 3. The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. So this is a remake slash remaster of a classic Game Boy game, one that I had never played before. Always wanted to, just never owned a copy of it. I was naturally very interested in playing this remaster version, but I was also at the same time worried that a game for a handheld console being remastered for a modern day console just wouldn't translate properly. Boy, was I wrong. From the moment I booted up Link's Awakening, I was just having the time of my life. I mean, yes, it is a very simple, linear game, but that doesn't mean that it isn't fun. I had a great time trying to figure out exactly where I needed to go, getting a clue about something, figure out the puzzles in each dungeon, the one with the pillars that I need to knock down by picking up those gigantic metal balls and throwing them, how to get the spheres to certain areas that were blocked off really was challenging, all the different color changing blocks and everything. I even found that special color dungeon that was kind of hidden in the game. This one is definitely more story-oriented than the original Legend of Zelda, but way less than a modern-day Zelda game. Didn't really bother me. You got just enough story to get a feel for Link and all the different characters that inhabit this island, and a lot of backstory about the Windfish to keep me interested, keep me coming back to it over and over again. And yes, it probably took me a little bit longer than somebody who had played the original game back in the day. I enjoyed every second of it, and I wish that it was actually kind of a longer game because I really enjoyed the world that the game takes place in, and I just wanted to spend more time in it. I kind of want to play through it again so I can pick the different attribute for my character. At one point, Link is given the choice to focus on offense or defense, and I picked offense, so maybe I should play through it again and pick defense and see how that playthrough plays out. There's definitely some replayability here. They took an old game and remade it for modern consoles, and it works in every single way. Mortal Kombat 11. I mean, duh. You had to know that if there's a Mortal Kombat game released during the space of a year, it's gonna be on my top 10 list. Well, unless it's like Special Forces.
No! No!
So Mortal Kombat 10 was my favorite game the year it came out. And I was kind of worried that 11 wouldn't live up to what Part 10 was, because Part 10 was fantastic. 11 is great. It's just not quite as good as 10 because not a whole lot had changed. It is almost the exact same game with a new coat of paint, a great story mode. Do not get me wrong, that story mode is phenomenal, especially the fact that pretty much every single character who has ever been in a Mortal Kombat game pops up during that finale at some point. But the basic mechanics of the game are essentially unchanged. So I would like for NetherRealm Studios, when they get around to making a Mortal Kombat 12, to just kind of think outside the box and do some new things. Brutalities are a thing again. Yes, there's fatalities. Yes, you can use objects in the background against your opponent. Plenty of moves, plenty of things to unlock in the crypt, lots of online modes, which is what keeps me coming back. In Mortal Kombat 10, I didn't really play a whole lot of the online modes. In this one, it actually had me coming back for weeks, which is something that really surprised me. The character roster is always fantastic. This one I do think is stronger than it was in Mortal Kombat 10. Not a lot of redundant characters. And the characters that they've been adding in through DLC look fantastic. There's a Terminator and Spawn. Naturally, I'm not going to be buying them in DLC. It's pretty much guaranteed that when Mortal Kombat 11, like the Gold Edition, comes out, I'm going to buy the game all over again. I even dabbled with playing matches online against other people, which is something I tend to not want to do at all. But I've got the PlayStation Plus membership. Why not take advantage of it in certain areas? I wanted to try it out, and I actually had fun. This game is so good, it actually made me go against one of my core principles when it comes to playing online. So that's really saying something. So everything about Mortal Kombat is great. It could have been a little bit better, but I'm not complaining because it is still Mortal Kombat, and Mortal Kombat is amazing. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Jedi Fallen Order was a game I really had no interest in. I was kind of ticked off that Disney canceled that Star Wars 1313 game that I had really been looking forward to because, you know, we want to do our own thing. Other people have ideas. We don't like those. So let's just toss away a half-finished game because I wasn't really paying any attention to anything about it other than the fact that I knew that a couple of actors that I was familiar with were in the game, like Cameron Monaghan, who played the Joker on Gotham, and he's also on Shameless. The day it was released, I was like, no, I'm okay. But boredom will make you do weird things, so I ended up watching Joel from Media Glitch streaming it on his YouTube channel, and I watched it for maybe an hour, and I was kind of blown away by what I was seeing. I was really impressed. I kind of said to myself right then and there, when you leave work today, you're going to stop at the Best Buy on the way home, and you're going to buy this game. And I did. And it's fantastic. Everything about it is great. The gameplay is a very fun mix of a Dark Souls game, an Uncharted game, and Prince of Persia. When it comes to Dark Souls, the enemies that you fight are very tough. Not so much the stormtroopers, but there's like shock troopers and there's alien creatures and whatnot that you fight. They have their own patterns and weaknesses that you need to exploit. Some are very hard to fight, depending on what kind of abilities that you've unlocked at that point. And if you are killed by a character, that character holds on to your XP, all of the items that you've collected and everything until you come back to them and kill them. When it comes to the Uncharted portions, there's a lot of platforming that you would normally see in an Uncharted game. Some of the combat is reminiscent as well, which is where the Prince of Persia stuff comes in also. The way you would fight in Prince of Persia was you would smack someone over here and there'd be another character behind you and you can jump over there, hit them once, and then go back. It was kind of like a fluid fighting system, and that happens here a lot with the lightsaber combat, and also a lot of the wall running stuff that you would do in Sands of Time is present here too. So there's a lot of different aspects from a lot of games I really like mixed into one, and it is put together extremely well. I love the characters, I love the story. It had lots of really cool twists and turns. It has something to say about mental health issues also. It was very difficult, but it's not so difficult that I didn't want to keep coming back and try to do better the next time. Yeah, there was a couple times where I got really frustrated. There's an arena level where your character, Cal Kestis, has been kidnapped and thrown into these arena fights, and they throw so many creatures at you at once, each of them requiring a different strategy, that I couldn't keep up, and I just kept on getting annihilated every time the third wave would come in. There's also a couple of really hard boss battles, and I'm not going to ruin that finale, but the last like 10 minutes of the game, holy crap. It takes place between episode 3 and 4. Your character, who was being trained to be a Jedi, and when the purge happened, had to like basically live amongst the people, you know, hiding in plain sight from the Empire, that he's forgotten all of his Jedi abilities. So over the course of the game, when you do remember a Jedi ability that you had back when you were a kid, you learn it by playing a flashback where you play as a young version of Cal being taught by his Jedi master how to do something like the wall run or doing a double jump or something like that. And it's really cool the way those are weaved into the story. I ended up liking the characters and the story so much that I hope that we get a sequel. I hope we get many sequels because I want to keep playing in the universe that this game creates. I loved every second I was playing this game, regardless of how difficult it can be at times and frustrating at the same time. And you know what? I kind of want to play through it again. Maybe I can platinum it. You never know. That definitely says something and justifies it being placed in my #1 spot. So there you go, my top 3 games of 2019. What were your top games of 2019? Let me know in the comments below. I really do want to hear from you. I'm definitely interested. There's plenty of games that I would have liked to have played. There was plenty of games that I bought and never had a chance to play at all. So let me know what your thoughts are, what games you think I need to play from 2019 in 2020, and all that. So until next time, and the next Top 3 Tuesday video, I am Chris, the old-ass retro gamer, signing off.